The morning was cool as Miriam settled by the window, cradling a chipped ceramic cup of instant coffee. It was the sort of day heavy with pressure, not weather, but money. Bills that once stood in order now slumped like exhausted soldiers at her desk's brink. Rent looming, credit card interest rising like a relentless tide. A child's field trip slip still blank, hidden under a water bill she couldn't bring herself to unfold. She believed she had followed the rules. College completed. Long nights, extra shifts at a position that depleted her far more than it compensated. She devoured budgeting articles, cut every indulgence, prayed, wept, and murmured petitions to the universe. Yet money kept evaporating like smoke between her hands. A harsh conclusion took root. Wealth was mere luck bestowed at birth on a few, while the rest scraped and struggled and still ended up with nothing. But what if her entire understanding of money had been false from the start, not merely mistaken deceptive? A curtain drawn across the real money is not won by exertion or handed out by chance. It is regulated. It is exact. It is under divine law. And as with every divine principle, it does not answer to hustle or mere wishing, but to the word. Florence Scovel Shinn declared, "Your word is your wand." Not as ornament, not as metaphor, but as law. The identical unseen order that moves the planets, divides seas, and awakens seeds also presides over your finances. Not by merit, not by history, not by schooling or lineage. It operates by spiritual edict. Let us start lifting the veil from the illusion. Money is no deity. It does not govern you. It is neither quarry to pursue nor threat to dread. It is a sacred servant awaiting instruction. It does not penalize or prize. It simply responds. Can you sense the inner tilt already? Money is not the master of your life. It is the compliant attendant standing by for orders. And what issues commands to this unseen energy? Your word. Every utterance you make in frustration or in faith serves as an architect. It shapes the template of your financial reality. I can't afford that. The plan narrows. Money always runs out. The form contracts. I'm always broke. And so the pattern holds. But pronounce this: money is a divine idea, and it now manifests in my life in perfect ways. Observe the mold widening. Notice the servant awaken to motion. The world teaches that wealth must be hunted fast, desperate forever, behind the target. That rewards go only to the sharp, the ruthless, the well-connected. Yet the spiritual truth speaks otherwise. Prosperity is not a private advantage. It is a universal law. Like gravity, it operates continuously. It does not check your worthiness. It checks your alignment. It heeds not crying, but frequency. And your frequency is built brick upon brick by your speech. Miriam, perched at that window, had never encountered this view. For her spirituality and money occupied opposite banks of a shattered bridge. She tithed, yet nursed resentment at the meager return. She trusted in God, but doubted supply. She could praise heaven and still dread the mail. Then a sentence split her world open. There is no lack in divine mind. She stopped, spoke it into the air. There is no lack in divine mind. The phrase felt strange, yet intimate, like a truth her soul had waited ages to recall. She started repeating it each day, not as routine, but as certainty. Moving through her rooms, she affirmed, "Wealth is mine by divine right." Facing her bills, she breathed, "Every dollar I need comes to me now easily and under grace." Something started to shift. Not in the mailbox, not immediately, rather in her breathing, in the set of her shoulders, in her feeling toward the figures on the page. Then the external mirrored the internal. Surprise refunds, openings she never pursued, a raise she hadn't requested. It was as though the unseen had listened at last and answered not grudgingly, but with exactness. Because money was never governed by grind, it was always governed by law. And that law states, what you utter, you welcome. What you anticipate, you generate. What you affirm takes form. This is not pep talk. It is age-old truth, spiritual statute, unbreakable, immutable, as certain as dawn after night. Florence Scovel Shinn never guaranteed effortless wealth. She promised alignment. She unveiled heaven's mechanics and instructed the tongue of command. Not via fear, not through negotiation, through the faith-saturated spoken word. So I ask you, dear listener, have you ever felt money slipping away despite all your effort? If yes, you are not cursed, not defective. You have been functioning under the wrong law. Add this below. I'm ready to command my wealth, not as a wish, but as a decree, because the truth stands before you. And it is this abundance is not begged for. It is spoken. It is summoned. It is received as your birthright. The season of money fear is finished. Let the servant rouse. Let money assume its proper role, not as sovereign, but as instrument. Not as oppressor, but as faithful subject. Your word is your wand. And today, you recall how to use it. It started as a whisper. One weary sentence spoken in surrender drifted like smoke from David's mouth while he waited in the supermarket queue. His gaze bounced from the almond milk price tag to the shrinking number in his banking app. I'm always broke, he murmured, half joking to ease the sting. The cashier missed it. The law did not. He had no idea at that moment that he had issued a binding order. Florence Scovel Shinn taught man is a creature of habit, and a habit of wrong thinking must be erased, and a habit of right thinking established. Yet what about speech itself? Words are not only reflections of thought, they are seeds. Uttered audibly, they sink into the rich soil of the subconscious, and whatever is sown, there must sprout. This is the law of the word. Words build, words direct, words set free. When you declare I'm always broke, spiritual law doesn't debate, it complies. When you affirm money never stays, it doesn't soothe you. It merely swings the door wide and allows funds to depart. Yet if you proclaim I am a magnet for divine supply, the heavens rearrange. Speak. My income is constantly increasing, and the pattern must be remade. Whatever you speak, you call forth. Consider Elise's story. She taught in a small, calm town, the sort of teacher who kept spare pencils for kids who lacked them. She labored diligently, cared fiercely, and fretted continually. Each month, she barely covered expenses. On her birthdays, she declined presents burdened by guilt at simply receiving. One night, she found an aged book with a worn lavender jacket, The Game of Life, and how to play it. She devoured it like water in a drought. It unveiled truths absent from pulpits and lesson plans, that her words were spells, that her tongue carried the key to hardship or provision. That very night, she dared a new act. Sitting before a mirror meeting her own gaze, she spoke aloud, I am divinely provided for. Wealth flows to me easily and under grace. She chuckled afterward. It felt awkward, even false. Still, she persisted. Morning after morning, evening after evening. And when the stale phrases surfaced, there's never enough. I'm not good with money. I guess I'll always struggle. She intercepted them mid-thought and substituted new ones. I am abundant. I live in divine supply. Everything I touch prospers. She did not recite them in panic. She pronounced them with authority. And then momentum began. A friend recommended her for tutoring that paid twice her usual rate. A modest inheritance surfaced from a scarcely remembered aunt. A student's parent invited her onto a local curriculum board with ample pay. It all seemed ordinary, but she understood the cause. The law of the word was in operation. Understand, spoken words are more than noise, they are frequency. And frequency draws its counterpart. Every decree you utter is a key twisting an unseen lock. You may not watch the pins fall, but they do. They align, they ready the gate to swing. Words generate, words govern, words unbind. No statement is neutral. Each line you speak constructs or demolishes. You are either summoning prosperity or barring its way. Ask yourself, would you sow poison and anticipate roses? Then why talk lack and presume abundance? Your tongue is no bystander. It is the craftsman of your tomorrow, the wand you wield. It molds, shapes, and fashions your lived experience. As Florence said, the invisible forces are ever working for man who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it. Your speech is what tugs those strings. So where do we start? With intention, with discipline, with sacred remembrance. Face your day and breathe life into it with speech. Before your feet meet the floorboards, declare, this is a day of divine compensation. Everything I need comes to me now. When you open your wallet, affirm, every dollar I spend returns multiplied. My money blesses and is blessed. When fear hisses that none of this works, answer with, I do not fear lack, for I live in the infinite supply of spirit. Don't debate with stale beliefs. Don't grapple with doubt. Just overwrite it with a fresh script. Words build. Words direct. Words liberate. Shut your eyes now. Let this truth settle into your bones. Picture your words flying from your mouth like golden doves, each bearing your intent into the unseen, where the angels of law take them and reply. The cashier might not catch your voice. The banker may not comprehend. Yet the law always hears. The law always answers. Elise's world did not flip in a single night, yet it shifted. Not due to begging, not from sudden luck. It changed because she recalled her divine authority and exercised it every day. She tucked her declarations in her purse, taped them to her mirror, and slid them into her planner. She made the language of wealth her first language. She chose to speak as though the outcome had already arrived. And now, I invite you to pause, reflect. Have you perhaps unknowingly been voicing lack? Have your statements turned into contracts with fear instead of alliances with faith? If so, it is not too late. It starts this very moment. Declare this below. I choose wealth words only. Say it, sense it, write it. Etch it into the frequency of now. You no longer voice defeat. You no longer forecast poverty. You speak life, and life replies. The door opens not from louder knocking, but because your word has turned the key. You cannot seize the wind or imprison sunlight, yet both possess the force to move the world. Money functions in the same way. It is not merely stacks of paper, nor only coins and cards. In its core, nature money is spiritual substance, unseen, impartial, responsive. It is alive, not with feeling, but with frequency. Florence Scovel Shinn treated money neither as evil nor sacred, but as power to be guided, not dreaded. She stated, there is no reality in lack. Supply is infinite. Those who view money spiritually grasp this. It is not fundamentally earned or stored. It is allowed to flow. Picture this, a current not of water, but of radiant golden light threading through the unseen. It is never stagnant and never prejudiced. It does not appraise the hands extended toward it. It moves by principle, divine principle. Where belief alignment and openness meet, the river arcs, pours, and fills. Yet where fear abides, it draws back. Where unworthiness lingers, it passes by. Where clutching, hoarding, and guilt dominate, the stream stalls. For the river is not wealth per se, it is the formless supply from which wealth emerges. It cannot be confined by human logic or force. It is spiritual, and thus must be spiritually received. Let us revisit a common deception that money is purely material, morally good or bad, sanctifying or corrupting. This split is the major falsehood. Money is no more wicked than flame. Fire heats a home and can raise a forest. Yet we do not condemn fire. We master its direction. So it is with money as well. Money resembles electricity, neutral, potent, regulated by laws. Would you accuse electricity of being greedy? Would you claim the wealthy stole all the current? Certainly not. You would study the switches, understand the circuits, and then plug in and power up. Money circulates by the same logic. Your purpose is not to plead with the current, but to conduct it. Florence declared, man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight. Why? Because the spiritual current answers not to proof, but to faith, not to your ledger, but to your expectation. Let us be direct. Money carries no morality. It neither improves nor degrades you. It amplifies the vibration you already sustain. If bitterness resides in you, it multiplies bitterness. If generosity is present, it enlarges generosity. If fear governs you, money complies and withdraws. If you abide in truth, it streams freely into your life. Begin to view money not as an adversary, but as an outcome, a spiritual reverberation of your energy and your spoken words. Consider the account of Marcus. Marcus grew up taught that money was dirty, that wealthy people were selfish, and that abundance for one meant deprivation for another. He delighted in helping others, yet found it hard to support himself. Whenever extra funds arrived, they evaporated surprise bills, malfunctioning appliances, mishaps. He developed resentment toward money. Consequently, money, like an unwelcome visitor, kept its distance. After losing a cherished job prospect, Marcus sat beneath a tree and wept. His anger wasn't toward God, it turned inward. He felt doomed, overlooked. He whispered, "What am I doing wrong?" A still inner reply came, "You do not see money as holy." The answer startled him. Could that be true? Might money in fact be sacred? He opened his journal and inscribed, "Money is a spiritual substance. I bless it, I welcome it, I command it." Initially, those lines were only ink on paper, yet as days moved on, they turned into frequency. He quit uttering, "I can't afford that." He started affirming, "I am richly provided for." He ceased apologizing whenever someone paid him. He began to say, "Thank you, divine source, for flowing through this gift." And the outcome, clients started paying ahead of schedule. He received a scholarship to finish his dream credential. A stranger in a cafe bought his coffee without a word. It seemed money had been observing and waiting and finally felt welcome to come back. Because Marcus stopped resisting the current, he became a conductor of flow. So I ask you now to inhale deeply and repeat the following in silence or aloud. Money is a spiritual substance. I release fear. I release guilt. I welcome divine flow. Say it once more. Money is not my master. It is my instrument. Allow this truth to reverberate through the halls of old beliefs. Let it rinse away ancestral guilt, inherited shame, and those silent vows of lack. You were not born to be afraid of money. You were born to direct it with love, to steer it toward good, to receive it as a child of the divine. Money is like a golden river coursing through your life, not from greed, but from readiness. Does this reframe how you perceive money? Has something within you begun to awaken? If so, share your aha in the comments. Say your insight aloud. Give it shape. Give it voice. For the instant you view money as spiritual rather than merely material, the entire game changes. You stop hustling. You begin harmonizing. You cease chasing. You start attracting. You move from doubt to knowing. And in that state of knowing, the river begins to flow. The cosmos moves in patterns. Unseen threads govern the opening of flowers, the pull of the seas, the sure return of spring after winter. These are not accidents. They are laws, timeless, exact, and completely dependable. Prosperity operates in the very same way. Florence Scovel Shinn did not offer hazy optimism or mere wishing. She taught the science of spirit, the working parts of the miraculous. She showed that wealth is not the product of raw will, but of alignment with law. And of these divine statutes, 3 stand as prosperity's sacred pillars: the law of the word, the law of circulation, the law of assumption. Each is a doorway. Each opens a fresh dimension of wealth, not by drudgery, but through remembering the spiritual. Let us pass through them one by one, not as abstract ideas, but as living truths. We start as everything begins with the word, because the word forms the mold, summons the substance, and sets the spiritual blueprint into motion. Florence said, "Man's word is his wand filled with magic and power." Each sentence uttered in faith is a decree to invisible forces. The subconscious does not interrogate, it accepts. The universe does not sit in judgment, it responds. Recall Elise, the teacher, who transformed declarations into new income. Her change was not luck, it was law. She conformed to the law of the word. Here is the flow. Think, speak, manifest. When you declare, "I am divinely supplied," you are not merely stating a fact, you are turning on a truth. You are signaling alignment. You are issuing a spiritual directive. Hence, careless words come at a price. Each time you claim, "I'm just not lucky with money," or "things never work out for me," you inscribe scripts in the unseen. And the universe, ever responsive, fulfills its role. Yet speak truth even before proof, and the stage must change. Let us voice a few now aloud, or inwardly: "Wealth is mine by divine right. Large sums of money come to me quickly, easily, and continuously. I speak with authority and supply answers." Pause, breathe, notice the resonance. Every word turns into a wand, and you are the one who wields it. The second law is movement circulation, the sacred dance of giving and receiving. Money, as noted, is a spiritual river. Rivers do not stockpile, they flow. They eddy, they nourish, and then move along. When fear makes you hoard, you block the current. When you give in trust, you widen the channel. Florence taught man should make an affirmation immediately when he gives money or when he pays a bill, that it will return to him, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not mere charity. It is circulation, the sacred circuit of prosperity. Consider the story of Nina. Nina owned a small bakery in a humble town. Times were tight, and every rent notice seized her chest with fear. Her reflex was to contract, trim everything, and withhold. She paused her gifts to her temple. She declined a friend's ask to support a local art show. Each dollar was clutched like oxygen underwater. Yet the more she gripped, the more things failed: a refrigerator breakdown, a supplier delay, an unexpected tax letter. Then one day, weary in spirit, Nina tried something radical. She slid $20 into an envelope labeled Seed of Divine Return. She anonymously gifted it to a local mother in need. As the envelope slipped into the mail slot, she whispered, "This returns to me multiplied. I give in joy. I receive in grace." Nothing shifted that day, nor the day after. But within a week, a local blog featured her bakery. Foot traffic rose. A customer requested bulk pastries for a wedding. An old loan was unexpectedly forgiven. Why? Because Nina had engaged the law of circulation. She set the river in motion, and the river answered. You cannot be the dam and the current at once. You must choose. If fear makes you, also block what would flow in. But when you give not from guilt but from expectancy, you carve a channel broader than before. Try it now, even in a symbolic way. Picture joyful giving to a cause, a stranger, your future self. Say this aloud. All that I give is returned to me, multiplied in perfect timing and under grace. Circulation is not sacrifice. It is divine economics. The third law puzzles the logical mind most, yet to the spiritual mind it feels like home. It is the law of assumption, the sacred practice of inhabiting the end as already fulfilled. Florence declared faith knows it has already received and acts accordingly. Not hopes, not wishes, knows. The law of assumption asks you to wear the outcome like a garment, to carry the vibration of wealth, not with swagger, but with assurance. Not someday now. This is not pretending, it is faith in motion. Let me share Lena's story. Lena longed to launch a design studio. She possessed skill and vision, but lacked capital, clients, and certainty. Still, something moved inside her. She recalled the teaching act as if. Live as if. Speak as if. So she printed business cards, designed a logo, cleared a corner of her apartment, and christened it her studio. She set office hours even before the phone rang. She answered calls with Lena Designs. How can I help you? Even when the caller was spam. She wore the outfit of her future self, here and now. And then reality matched her state. A former professor passed her name to a business owner. He became client number 1. His colleague became client number 2. Within months, she was fully booked. Within a year, she leased a real studio. Why? Because the law cannot refuse what is already embodied. Here lies the sacred paradox. You must feel wealthy before the balance reflects it. You must walk in prosperity before it knocks. You must put on the identity. Speak this aloud now. I assume my wealth. I walk in my abundance. I am who I desire to be. You are not pretending. You are partnering with your future. So now, as we stand before these 3 great laws, the law of the word, the law of circulation, the law of assumption, I invite you not to dissect them, but to activate them, speak them, live them, let them flow. Whisper to your own soul, I speak wealth. I give with joy. I walk as if it is already mine. Feel the alignment settle in. Let resistance soften and melt. Allow the laws to commence their perfect work. And when one of these laws lands in you, write it, claim it, and seal it. Comment below, I receive it along with the number of your law. Was it the word that stirred you? The circulation that challenged you? The assumption that ignited your fire? Let the law you choose today be the one that elevates you tomorrow. For you are no longer subject to money's mercy. You are now aligned with divine law. The stars keep a rhythm. The oceans throb with a pulse. Every forest, each wave, every stirring of wind carries a heartbeat. Life advances by pattern, not disorder. prosperity moves by the same cadence. What separates those who enjoy steady wealth from those who know only brief flashes is not genius pedigree or even intensity of desire. It is rhythm, the sacred fidelity to spiritual repetition. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "By your constant spoken word, you impress the subconscious mind. The subconscious is a faithful servant but must be rightly directed. Most people declare once and then wait. They speak once and then doubt. Yet law answers not sporadic utterances but sustained vibration. Rhythm is not demanded by the divine. It trains the receiver." Let me bring you into Samira's story. Samira, a single mother, just laid off, possessed only a small savings buffer and a fierce commitment to her children. By ordinary measures, things looked grim. Rent loomed 3 weeks away. The pantry sat half-stocked. One night at the kitchen table, she drafted not a budget, but a decree. "I am the daughter of divine wealth. All that I need flows to me now." She affixed it to the refrigerator door. Then she went a step beyond. Every morning before the kids stirred, she lit a candle and faced the mirror. She voiced the lines aloud, "I am prosperous. I am provided for. Divine supply is pouring in this very moment." Not once, not twice, every single day, morning and night, even when nothing seemed different, even when fear hissed louder than faith. She set a phone alarm, 3 daily chimes. Each reminder made her pause, breathe, and affirm, "Large sums of money come to me quickly and easily under grace in perfect ways." She grew to love the cadence. Within 2 weeks, an old client reached out, temporary work well paid enough for rent and food. Soon after, a friend forwarded her resume to another opening. Then a scholarship arrived for a course she had long wanted. Samira's life did not shift because of random fortune. It changed through daily obedience to spiritual law. As a drumbeat summons dancers, her declarations summon supply. As a river carves channels over time, her words shaped new pathways. She had moved into rhythm, and rhythm is sacred obedience, not to a far-off deity, but to your own divine soul. Now picture your own morning. You rise before the world presses in. You sit in stillness. The air rests quiet, and you begin, "I am one with the infinite wealth of spirit." Your voice is gentle, yet sure. You neither beg nor plead. You command. Then you repeat it at noon, and once more before sleep. This repetition is not desperation, it is devotion. The strength lies not in novelty, but in constancy. You are not persuading the universe, you are training your vibration. Every repetition cuts a deeper groove in the subconscious. Each cadence lays fresh foundation. This is not magic, it is metaphysical law. Florence wrote, "Man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight." Preparation is rhythm. Discipline is rhythm. Expectation is rhythm. Consider the sunrise. Does it request permission? Does it fail to appear? No. It arrives faithful, unwavering. Your declarations must be the same. Still mark this well. Spiritual discipline is not bleak or burdensome. It is delight. You are not mouthing empty lines. You are tuning your soul to the divine signal of abundance. Each time you affirm, "I am richly supplied," the unseen begins to echo it back. Each time you decree, "I walk in financial ease," your world starts to reconfigure. But it unfolds through rhythm, through obedience, through trust. Now close your eyes. Sense your breath's cadence. Feel your heart's pulse. Let your spirit whisper, "I commit to rhythm." Notice how it steadies you. Not frantic striving, not hustle, just the peaceful beat of truth spoken over and over. Samira still speaks her declarations even now, not from fear of stopping, but because she knows rhythm is how we remember who we are. And when we remember, the law responds. Are you ready? Are you ready and willing to begin right here, right now? Not with anything complicated, and certainly not with flawless execution. Instead, begin with a single sentence repeated out loud 3 distinct times each day. Select the declaration that belongs to you. Put it in writing. Fasten it to your mirror, your refrigerator door, even the steering wheel of your car, and then actually speak it every day consistently and deliberately, as reliably as the ocean's tides return, as certain as the sunrise arrives each morning. Add your voice below with I commit to rhythm and allow today to stand as day one of your wealth ritual. Your discipline is never a penalty. It is careful preparation and readiness. It is spiritual alignment, a steadying of your inner compass. It is the sacred rhythm that tunes you to prosperity. Some illusions are stitched so tightly into the cloth of our upbringing that we confuse them with truth. We do not receive them from cruelty, but from repetition. We carry them like second-hand coats, ill-fitting, threadbare, yet strangely familiar. One illusion in particular is this: wealth has to be earned. It appears noble and responsible, carrying the ring of diligence and the stance of humility. Yet in spiritual reality, it is a covering, a veil that must be torn away. Florence Scovel Shinn did not tread lightly around illusions. She broke them open with her words. She taught man can only receive what he sees himself receiving, and here is the profound reversal. Wealth does not answer to sheer exertion, it answers to alignment. It is not collected like hourly pay, it is commanded to appear like light dispelling darkness. Let us enter a parable about a servant. There lived a man named Elias who served a rich merchant. Day after day, he swept floors, scrubbed stables, hauled water, and bowed his head. He watched his master eat lavishly, issue commands, and travel without restraint. Elias toiled without end, convinced that relentless effort would eventually bring reward. One night, as he tidied the study, he found a small, leather-bound volume titled simply The Law of Supply. Curious, he opened it and began to read, "You are not a servant, you are a son. The kingdom is not earned, it is inherited." His hands began to tremble. At dawn the next morning, Elias did the unthinkable. Rather than presenting himself for chores, he entered the master's library, took the chair, and spoke aloud. "I now claim the wealth that is mine by divine inheritance." The household buzzed, servants whispering in corners. Yet the master simply smiled. He answered, at last, "You've remembered." The master explained that Elias had always been his heir, placed in disguise to learn not drudgery, but rightful authority. This is more than a tale, it mirrors your own story. You have identified as the servant when in truth you are the heir. You have strained to deserve though you were meant to declare. You have pled for crumbs from the universe even while the banquet table was already set. Let us be direct, you do not earn the air you breathe. Why presume abundance must be earned? Do birds punch time cards? Does a tree send the sun an invoice? Do the oceans submit permission slips to lift their tides? Nature receives by innate right, by flow, and by divine law. And you made in the image of the infinite have somehow forgotten this no longer. Let that illusion dissolve completely. Wealth is not a prize. It is a response to your vibration, your speech, and your inner knowing. This grants no permission for laziness, nor does it dismiss action. It simply reorients action toward alignment. When you align with divine supply, your actions become joyful, attractive, and inspired, never desperate. Florence's words ring like an arrow. Her infinite spirit is never too late. She never taught fearful waiting. She taught faithful commanding. You are not required to prove yourself worthy. You must position yourself correctly. You do not need to chase. You must claim what is yours. Close your eyes. Envision the wealth you seek. Feel it as possession, not as fantasy, but as ownership. Now say the following out loud. I no longer earn, I align and command. Allow that sentence to vibrate through every cell of your body. Speak it again with greater conviction. I no longer earn, I align and command. Feel the old chains unclasp and fall away. Do not fear this truth. Welcome and embrace it. The world may insist that sweat automatically equals salary, but Spirit teaches that alignment brings overflow. Do not reject your desires. They are divine appointments and assignments. They are not burdens to be suffered. They are realities to be spoken into existence. Like Elias, you must rise from a servant stance and occupy the chair of inheritance. Do not hesitate or stall. Do not wait for another to place a crown upon you. The crown may be unseen, yet it already belongs to you. Let us return to Florence, who declared all that is mine by divine right is now released and reaches me in great avalanches of abundance under grace in perfect ways. You are not enduring some test of worth. You are being cordially invited to command, to claim, and to co-create. Are you willing to accept this invitation? Does this awaken something age-old within your soul? If it does, give it voice. Speak it aloud right now. I no longer earn, I align and command. Notice how your vibration shifts in response. Afterwards, share below how the declaration felt to you. Not to merely hope, not to endlessly hustle, but to command with authority. Because you were never meant to remain the servant in this narrative. You have always been the one holding the key. You have always been the one vested with authority. And now the door opens not due to force, but because you remembered who you are. This is the very truth Florence understood. This is the power you reclaim and stand in today. Tithing. A single word that awakens a wide range of emotions in many hearts. For some, it evokes offering envelopes and a sense of duty. For others, it hurts because they feel spent and empty with nothing left to offer. Yet to those who grasp spiritual law, genuine tithing is never subtraction, it is increase and multiplication. And what is the hidden multiplier? It is the word itself. Yes, spoken, intentional, consecrated word. When tithing joins with conscious verbal command, it triggers a divine return. Let us start with a testimony. A woman called her Eliza stood at the cliff's edge of her money life. Her account balance quivered near zero. Rent pressed close, her children needed groceries, and anxiety gathered like thunderheads. She knew of tithing, yet wondered, how can I give when every cent feels necessary just to survive? Then a fresh idea arrived. Felt not like her own, but sourced from the divine, give as if God already replenished it. So she tithed, offering not only money, but also joy, faith, and her voice. Placing a small gift, $10, into the hand of a stranger in need, she softly whispered, "As I give it, returns multiplied. God is my supply, infinite, immediate, unfailing." Then she walked away free from fear, filled with expectation. 2 days later, her phone rang. A former client who had disappeared without paying called to apologize and offered triple the overdue sum along with a fresh contract. It far exceeded what she imagined. Why? Because she honored the law of the multiplier. Let us be clear about this principle. An act of giving is unfinished until the word seals it. Tithing without accompanying word resembles planting a seed and then refusing to water it. It could sprout someday. But when you speak with joy and faith, you speed the growth cycle. As I give it, returns multiplied. Envision it now. See golden streams of energy leaving your palm as you give. Watch them spiral outward, blessing lives, igniting light, and then cycling back in widening rings of increase. Each wave that returns is larger than the one that departed because your voice activated the circuit. This is no mere mechanism. It is mystical, divine in nature. As Florence Scovel Shinn taught, man must make the first move. Draw nigh unto me, and I will draw nigh unto you. When giving aligns with the spoken word, it brings divine power close and magnetizes supply from invisible sources. And remember, this tithing extends beyond money. You tithe time when you comfort someone hurting. You tithe wisdom when you encourage and raise another up. You tithe your voice when you speak truth, love, and faith over your life and surroundings. The tithe is sacred not due to its form, but due to the spirit that animates it. Now repeat with me, as I give it returns multiplied. I give joyfully. I receive abundantly. Divine circulation is now established in my life. Pause a moment. Breathe slowly. Allow the energy to come back towards you. Can you sense the return? Beloved, understand your words are not hollow. They are vessels. Every gift you release becomes a key that opens heaven's windows, provided you bless it aloud. Do not merely pass it along or press send on a donation. Before releasing it, speak this blessing. This gift returns to me, increased blessed, multiplied by divine law. A whisper will do a murmur, a chant, a clear declaration. But never again give in fearful silence. The silence born of fear carries no power. The sound of faith, however, cleaves the heavens. Let me lead you through a brief sequence of affirmations. Now God is my supply. I give in joy. I receive in overflow. I tithe in trust. I speak increase. The word is my contract with the divine. Again, beloved ones, as I give it returns multiplied. Feel it moving now? Sense the circuit closing. Can you perceive the current, the cycle, the working law? What you bless expands. What you thank grows. What you speak takes form. Therefore, bless your next gift aloud before you part with it. And to seal the circuit right now, comment below. I tithe with faith. Allow your spoken word to complete the circuit. Have you ever spoken aloud about your money, your vision, your future, and then felt a quick stab of inner doubt? That little internal voice that contradicts your statement and whispers, "You're not being truthful." You don't actually believe that. This, beloved, is the fracture point, the place where manifestations falter. The law of agreement is broken not by the words themselves, but by the secret contradiction in belief underneath the words as you speak them. By your words, you are justified, and by your words, you are condemned. Yet only when your words and beliefs walk together in step do you become an open channel for divine wealth. Let us step into the life of a man named David. David was diligent with affirmations. Each morning he woke early, faced his mirror, and declared, "I am rich. I am successful. I am a magnet for abundance." And still, his bank balance refused to change. His outer circumstances barely budged. In frustration, he asked, "Why does this not work for me?" and Spirit whispered back, "Because you say the words but do not agree with them." A mirror does not reveal what you merely wish, it reveals what you truly agree with. Return in imagination to that mirror. See yourself standing there. You say, "I am wealthy." Yet behind your eyes a flicker rises, "But I've always struggled." You state, "I am worthy of abundance," but beneath the breath lingers a whisper. Who am I to receive that much? Do you see what is happening? This is the law of agreement breached your words, and beliefs are out of alignment. It is like an orchestra with instruments out of tune, like a prayer that never travels beyond your lips. The universe attends not only to your phrases, but to the emotional current flowing beneath them. Now let us pause here. Close your eyes where you are. Take a deep breath and say inwardly, "I agree with my abundance." Let the sentence land and settle. Feel the silence afterward, not hollow, but rich and full. The divine law declares, "If two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything they shall ask, it shall be done." You yourself are the two, your spoken voice and your inward belief, your tongue and your heart, your outer self and your inner self. When these two agree, heaven answers. Return to David's story. He ceased making hollow declarations and began with honest acknowledgement. He stood at the mirror and admitted, "I want to believe I am wealthy. Help me agree with it fully." Then slowly and deliberately he repeated, "I soften my resistance. I allow abundance. I accept that I am worthy." Over time, his declarations transformed into genuine agreements, no longer mere phrases, but internalized beliefs. His vibration shifted, and as a consequence, his reality followed suit. Florence Scovel Shinn teaches man must prepare for the thing he has asked for when there isn't the slightest sign of it in sight. Preparation is a form of agreement. If you truly believe abundance is yours, your words must reflect that, and equally, your beliefs must support it. So how do you forge real agreement within you? Calibrate. You bring thought and tongue into alignment. Before each affirmation, you ask yourself, "Do I feel this is true? If not, what belief must I adopt to meet this truth?" Then you soften, adjust, and repeat until the sentence ceases to feel foreign and begins to feel familiar, like a coat you are growing into. Let us practice together for a moment. I agree with my abundance. My speech and belief are one. There is no resistance, only flow. I am no longer divided within. Notice the peace in those lines, the unity. This is harmony, and this harmony is power. Picture a river. When its banks align, water runs clean and swift. When rocks of doubt and branches of fear block the channel, the current lags. Your speech is that river, yet belief must clear the way. So today, let us clear the channel. Let us come into agreement with good. Let us speak only what we truly believe or are sincerely willing to believe. No more hollow phrases. No more fear-laced affirmations. Instead, declarations of truth rooted in genuine agreement. Now repeat once again, "I agree with my abundance." And to anchor this law into motion, comment below, "I agree with my abundance." Speak it publicly. Let heaven and earth witness your inner unity. For when belief and words stand together as one, nothing will be impossible to you. What if I told you that your whole financial experience, your earnings, your overflow, even how much you permit yourself to spend on something as small as a coffee, depends far less on the external economy and far more on who you believe yourself to be at the deepest level? This introduces the sixth principle, the law of identity. You do not ultimately receive what you merely want. You do not even receive solely what you speak. You receive precisely what your subconscious identity is willing and able to allow. A beggar can repeat, "I am rich," 1,000 times, but if he still believes he is unworthy, that life must be difficult, that he was born to lack and must remain there, he will unconsciously arrange for every dollar that arrives to leave again. Let me offer you a story to make this plain. A young woman named Miriam grew up inside generational poverty. Her grandmother snipped coupons from worn newspapers. Her mother spoke in hushed tones whenever using a credit card weighted by shame at the balance. And Miriam, ambitious as she was, carried a quiet inner vow. We don't do wealth, we get by and survive. She possessed talent, education, and solid connections. Yet, regardless of how many offers arrived, she ended up underpaid, overworked, and overlooked. Whenever money flowed in, it drained away. Emergencies appeared with clockwork regularity. She wondered, maybe I'm cursed. But she was not cursed at all. She was living in a conflict of identity. One day, she heard a teacher declare, "Money can only rise to the level of your self-concept." The line pierced her heart. She realized, I've been requesting overflow, but inside I remained the little girl too ashamed to ask for lunch money. So she committed to the real inner work. She sat quietly and asked, who do I claim to be when no one else can hear me? An answer surfaced. I am someone who barely makes it. I am someone who is good, but not exceptional. I am someone who doesn't get the big break. These were the hidden mantras, the secret scripts humming beneath her spoken affirmations. She understood then nothing external would truly change until she changed who she believed she was. As Florence Scovel Shinn stated, man can only receive what he sees himself receiving. Put differently, your outer world conforms to the inner image you carry. Therefore, Miriam made a firm decision. She would reprogram her identity, not merely stray thoughts or isolated words, but the very container that determines what she can receive. Identity is your container. Just as a gallon will overflow a teacup, the universe cannot pour millions into a consciousness still molded by struggle. So she began in earnest. Each morning, Miriam faced the mirror and affirmed with deliberate, steady power, I am wealth, I am worthy, I receive. Not as a rote chant or flimsy wish, but as a claim, as remembrance, a return to her divine birthright. At first, it felt unfamiliar. Her hands shook, her voice wavered. Yet she returned again and again to that sacred sentence. I am wealth, I am worthy, I receive. As weeks moved on, something subtle yet powerful began to shift. She quit undercharging clients. She started declining draining opportunities. She refreshed her wardrobe not for vanity, but for alignment. She rearranged her home not to impress, but to harmonize with her new frequency. And then the harvest arrived. A past client recommended her for a global project, paying 10 times her ordinary rate. A distant relative passed and left her a modest inheritance with a note, use this to dream again. Because the universe does not withhold what you have expanded your capacity to hold. To speak plainly until you become the kind of person who can carry abundance, abundance will not remain with you. You might taste it briefly. You might borrow it for a season, yet only identity lets you live in it permanently. So, dear one, ask yourself now, not merely what do I want, but who am I truly? Do you see yourself as divine royalty, a genuine magnet for prosperity, one who receives without guilt, gives without depletion, and walks naturally in overflow? Or are you still wearing the cloak of the struggler, the perpetual saver, the self-sacrificing one, remove that cloak. Release it completely, because you were never designed for crumbs. You are heir to all things. Now repeat with me slowly and consciously. I am wealth. I am worthy. I receive. 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 Allow your spoken voice to shape your very self. Let your body begin to trust and believe what your tongue is commanding. Identity is not immovable. It is formed, trained, and deliberately chosen. And today, you choose anew. Therefore, comment now to claim your true self. I am wealth. 7 letters, 3 words, 1 transformed reality. Because heaven meets you not at the level of your need, nor even merely at the level of your prayer, but at the level of who you have become. Obedience. To modern ears, it can sound stiff, outdated, even severe. Yet, in the spiritual dimension, obedience is not yielding to human regulations. It is protective armor for prosperity, the sacred discipline that keeps your blessing established. Let's be unambiguous in divine economy. Obedience is not an emotion. It is not about mood or feeling. It concerns your actions when Spirit gives instruction. And if you desire genuine abundance, an overflow that does not stutter, and a wealth that doesn't drift, you must walk in obedience to spiritual law. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "There is no peace or prosperity for the disobedient. This is not punitive. Rather, disobedience disrupts the rhythm of divine circulation." Picture a soldier on watch. They don't move by whim. They move when the signal arrives, not from terror, but from trust in the larger strategy. In the same way, an obedient soul takes action when the inner voice says, "Move." There is great power hidden in this posture. Consider Jerome's story. Jerome did not see himself as spiritual. He was doubtful of metaphysical ideas and chose logic over faith. Yet a crisis came, his business sagged, debts mounted, and stress began to erode his health. In a quiet moment, he sensed an inner nudge. Give away the last of your inventory. Every part of him resisted. It seemed irrational. How could giving away his product possibly rescue his enterprise? Nevertheless, he obeyed, not because it felt pleasant, but because it felt unmistakably clear. He emailed his list. "For this week only, I'm giving this product away, no strings attached. Please take it." Within hours, his inbox filled to the brim. People were surprised, touched, and grateful. By week's end, 2 new investors contacted him. One remarked, "Anyone who gives like that, I trust." Within 30 days, his business had turned around. Later, Jerome reflected, "I didn't understand it, but I obeyed. And that obedience became my rescue." Because spiritual law does not require prior understanding, it asks for trustful response. Let us shift the metaphor. Envision obedience as a suit of armor. It doesn't confine you, it safeguards you. When you respond to spiritual prompts, you remain in alignment. You move in proper timing. You bypass confusion and avoid detours. You repel chaos from your path. You attract divine momentum and support. Obedience stabilizes and steadies the flow. When the inner voice says, "Forgive," and you comply, the channel widens. When the whisper instructs, "Give this," and you act, your harvest is set in motion. When the inner light counsels wait and you resist impatience, the blessing matures. Disobedience does not incur punishment, but it postpones the good. It's like shutting a faucet midstream. The water supply remains, but nothing pours until you open it again. Florence reminds us man can only be what he sees himself to be, and he must act on divine guidance. Obedience is precisely that action, the bridge connecting revelation to manifestation. So pause now and ask yourself, have I received divine instruction and then hesitated? What were you prompted to release, to begin, to trust, to leave behind, to speak aloud? Have you waited for perfect timing, a certain feeling, or outside approval? Now is the moment to set those excuses aside, because wealth is not arbitrary, it streams wherever spiritual law is honored. Let us declare together, right now I obey divine law daily. I trust the inner nudge. I respond when Spirit speaks. Obedience is my armor. I am not ruled by emotion, I am led by truth. Feel the steadiness and stability in these words. No frantic highs or crushing lows, just peace. Obedience serves as your anchor. In a culture that idolizes spontaneity and feeling-led choices, obedience becomes your distinguishing edge. Others chase success. You align with success. Others hustle amid confusion. You move by instruction. And as you obey, blessings accumulate because heaven entrusts abundance to the soul that listens. Post your commitment now. I obey divine law daily. Let obedience be your armor, your steady practice, your protective covering. Obedience is not grim sacrifice. It is precision and accuracy. It is also the pathway through which divine wealth can move safely and securely. We have been instructed in a falsehood, a lie insisting the harder you work, the more you earn, that success depends on relentless hustle, grinding effort, exhaustion, and sacrifice. Yet in the kingdom, reality effort is not sovereign, alignment is. Spiritual law does not reward perspiration, it rewards vibration. When your vibration matches divine abundance, the things others labor for begin to flow to you with ease. Let's grasp this with a metaphor. Imagine an old silver radio with a side-to-side tuning dial. You want to hear 98.7 FM, but your pointer sits at 91.1. You crank the knob harder and faster frantically, yet the song never appears. Why? Because effort cannot tune a frequency. Only correct alignment can. This is how many live hustling on the wrong station. They toil out of alignment, pushing against their own vibration, speaking affirmations, while holding guilt, chasing money, while fearing it, pleading for overflow, while transmitting scarcity. And then they wonder why the signal remains muddy. The core truth is simple. You attract what you are, not merely what you do. As Florence Scovel Shinn said, faith opens the way where there is no way, and the law of vibration responds to faith, not force. Faith is your broadcast signal. Guilt is the static. Force generates friction. Vibration brings clarity. Let me introduce you to a woman named Nia. Nia was the most dedicated employee in her firm. She arrived before everyone. She left after everyone. She accepted every assignment and volunteered for every initiative. Yet no promotion appeared. No acknowledgement came. She observed colleagues rise while she remained in place. Drained and at her limit, she fell into prayer and pleaded, "God, what else can I do?" Then a quiet inner voice answered, "It is not what you do, it is who you are being." She recognized that her core frequency was, "I am not enough." Each effort, despite its output, sprang from anxiety about being ignored, being swapped out, or being unworthy. So she chose a profound and decisive change. She halted the habit of overreaching. She rested deliberately. She practiced saying no. She sat in meditation. She used visualization. She moved through each day affirming, "I am enough. I am magnetic. I attract good effortlessly." Within a few weeks, a different opening arrived, one aligned with her frequency rather than her grind. Fewer hours, larger compensation, greater delight, for the universe had been poised for her to harmonize with the vibration of ease. Consider this your personal summons right now. Release relentless hustling. Lay down the shame that insists, if I'm not busy, I'm not worthy. The divine does not require your exhaustion in order to favor you. Speak this out loud. I vibrate wealth now. Once more, I vibrate wealth now. Notice how distinct it is from I work for wealth. One strains and forces, the other allows and receives. Prosperity does not come from strain. It flows from inner spiritual alignment and resonance. Are you currently vibrating in harmony with wealth? Do you embody wealth in feeling? Do you reason as wealth? Do you talk as wealth? Do you carry yourself as wealth if you do not recalibrate? Turn your inner dial. Each morning, invest time aligning not with tasks and checklists, but with your sacred identity. Decree the following: I am in tune with infinite supply. I attract what is mine by law. Effort is the echo, vibration is the cause. And most importantly, done hustling. I vibrate wealth now. Make this your ongoing proclamation, your turning point, your upgraded baseline. Add your words below. I vibrate wealth now. Allow the spiritual algorithm to answer. For when your inner realm voices abundance, the outer world inevitably reverberates the same melody. Your purpose is not to suffer or strain. You are here to attune and align. On the spiritual path, there are moments when time seems to bend and flex. When timelines that should span months compress into mere hours. When petitions are fulfilled before they're fully spoken. When the transformation is so quick, so otherworldly, it steals your breath. That territory belongs to the power sentence. It's more than a standard affirmation. It is not just optimistic repetition. It is a sacred decree carried by vibration cadence and faith so attuned to divine law that it triggers prompt manifestation. Florence Scovel Shinn taught a single word spoken in absolute faith is more powerful than years of effort without belief. Beloved, this statement is your key to a reversal within 24 hours. Allow me to explain how it arrived. A man called Elijah found himself in despair. Payments were late, his confidence was broken, and opportunities were shut. He had learned the principles, recited affirmations, and visualized daily, yet the postponement persisted. Then, in the quiet of dawn, he heard an inner instruction. Speak this and do not flinch. By divine law, my good appears now swiftly and without delay. He offered no doubts. He made no edits. He voiced it out loud, slowly, with rhythm, as though each word were a note in a holy chant. By divine law, my good appears now swiftly and without delay. Once again, by divine law, my good appears now swiftly and without delay. He declared it thrice, and then he rested in silence. 12 hours afterward, a previous employer phoned. A contract opened up. I thought of you. The payment sufficient to wipe out all debts, enough to breathe freely again. A single day. One sentence. One authoritative decree. For when your words move with rhythm, faith, and alignment, you step past mere logic and into sacred acceleration. Now, let us claim the force of that sentence jointly. Sit upright. Take a deep breath. Rest your hand upon your heart. Notice your breath lifting and lowering. And now proclaim it audibly. By divine law, my good appears now swiftly and without delay. Again, this time with unshakable certainty. By divine law, my good appears now swiftly and without delay. A third repetition issued as a command. By divine law, my good appears now swiftly and without delay. This is not pleading. This is not mere hoping. This is the exercise of authority. The instant you speak it with complete belief, invisible forces marshal themselves around your decree. Remember, your words act as agents. Spoken in alignment, they execute their assignment. They do not return empty. Let's anchor it through rhythm. Picture a steady drumbeat underscoring your voice. Tap softly or envision a slow, steady pulse as you repeat. By divine law, my good appears now, swiftly and without delay. Consider this your activation sequence. Speak it 3 times daily at morning, noon, and evening for the next 3 days. Do not speak it lightly. Declare it as law. Declare it as Elijah did without even a flinch. This decree targets money miracles, sudden favor, urgent provision, and any area that feels jammed and requires sacred acceleration. Yet do more than speak it, ready yourself to receive it. Make room, anticipate phone calls, anticipate deposits, anticipate holy reordering. For the very moment your voice aligns with your belief, the law is compelled to answer. Florence wrote, "Faith is expectancy. Therefore, expect promptly, expect with no postponement." Now, to complete this circuit, declare the sentence again with full power. By divine law, my good appears now swiftly and without delay. And when you feel ready, write below, "It is done." Seal the law in place. Anchor the reversal firmly. Then observe closely what unfolds over the next 24 hours, before the world stirs awake. Prior to headlines, before the clamor ahead of the day's many demands, there exists a moment quiet, luminous, sacred, when your spirit stands solitary before the infinite. In this space, your spoken words sculpt the contours of your world. This is your dawn of authority and dominion. Now gently close your eyes. Allow your breathing to grow soft and unforced. Sense the early light's hush resting tenderly upon your closed eyelids. In this stillness, we recall and remember. You are not subject to the day's whims. You are not pursuing time or money in panic. You are not scrambling merely to get by. You are the one who issues the word, and the word operates as law. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "Man's word is his wand filled with magic and power," and indeed so it is. Let us begin your morning ritual for decree and dominion. Echo after me. 1 phrase per breath, 1 decree at a time. Allow a minute of silence between each line, so the truth can sink profoundly. Let gentle music carry you, like sunrise spreading over a tranquil sea. I rise this day as the voice of divine wealth. I decree this day blessed, overflowing with luminous provision. Every door of rightful opportunity swings wide before me. No person, no circumstance, no postponement can withstand my word. I move in peace, I speak with authority, I dwell in prosperity. Spirit substance streams to me and through me now. Money arrives with ease and joy in delightful, unexpected ways because I decree it so. Every cell within me vibrates with complete trust in the law. I am aligned, I am permitted, I am anointed. This is the day the Lord has made, and with my word, I craft it anew. Let us go deeper now. Let us imagine together dawn has barely broken. The air carries jasmine and warm coffee. You face your mirror not to judge, but to create. You look into your own eyes and perceive power. No doubt, no worry, only sacred remembrance. You lift your hand and speak out as Florence instructed. I cast this burden on the Christ within, and I go free. You smile softly. And then, without hesitation, without the slightest flinch, you declare the law. Not a wish, not a plea, a command. You affirm, unexpected doors fly open, unexpected channels appear. Money and success flow to me under grace in perfect ways. You rest your hand upon your heart, and you confirm aloud, I am wealth, I am peace, I am safe. You are not merely preparing for the day. You are shaping the day itself in advance. You are not reacting to life. You are designing it with intention. And now, a sacred visualization. Envision your coming day without fear, without strain, but as a holy unfolding. Picture emails arriving that carry gifts. Picture messages that uplift and electrify you. See a stranger extend favor, a check arrive ahead of time, an unforeseen yes landing in your lap. And let it feel utterly normal. Because you declared it to be so, because the word established itself as law. Recall the deeper axiom Florence lived by: nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart but doubt and fear. And each morning, you remove those obstacles. You replace them. You override them fully. With what exactly? With the word itself. Before the phone starts ringing, before the world surges in, you have already spoken the shape and course of your life. Allow this day to rise and match your decree. Begin tomorrow with this practice. Voice it aloud. Observe what unfolds. If you choose to commit right, I begin at dawn with the word. The moment inevitably arrives. It always, without fail, appears. You check the mailbox or your inbox, and there it sits. A bill, a notice, a figure that tightens your chest and steals your breath. You feel the surge, the wave of panic, the familiar spiral of not enough, the heavy doubt murmuring, what if I can't manage this? At that precise instant, the old mental loop lunges to seize control. It's quick. It's well-worn and familiar, but not on this day. Today, you practice substitution. Florence Scovel Shinn offered a sacred key substitution. The instant fear starts talking, you overrule it not with additional fear, but with truth. Let us walk through the practice together. Scenario A. Bill appears. You tear open the envelope. The number leaps at you. Your stomach somersaults. The old thought track tries to declare, I don't have enough. This is too much. Why does this always happen to me? Halt. Breathe slowly and deeply. This right here is the pivotal moment, right here and now. You implement substitution. Speak this out loud. This is cleared now by divine right. There is no debt in divine mind. Sense the internal shift taking place. Repeat it again. I do not see a lack. I see supply on its way. All that is mine comes to me now in perfect timing. Let us rehearse this new loop. Name each fear, then install the substitution. This is not mere positivity or wishful thinking. This is the disciplined practice of law. You are not avoiding reality. You are authoring it anew. Florence declared unequivocally, fear and impatience delay results. My supply is endless, inexhaustible, and immediate, and comes to me under grace in perfect ways. Therefore, we speak it repeatedly, consistently, until the downward spiral snaps, until the loop turns around to serve you, until the storm of fear settles into calm. Let us run a rapid-fire substitution exercise. Close your eyes now and take deep, even breaths. I will voice the fear. You answer with the substitute. Speak it audibly. There's not enough. There is always more than enough for me. I messed up. Nothing is lost in divine mind. I am guided to right action. I'm alone in this. I walk with divine partnership. I am never alone. I failed. Every seeming loss is a stepping stone to greater gain. I'm too late. I move in divine timing. All comes at the perfect moment. Speed it up now, treat it like a mental training session. This is the way you condition your spiritual reflexes. This is how you assume dominion over your thinking. This is how you interrupt and replace patterns on command. For if you do not replace the lie, it takes root and spreads. Yet the instant you declare the truth, the lie dissolves. Speak this now. I do not fear appearances. I speak the truth, and the truth sets me free. Florence taught clearly, never do today what intuition says to do tomorrow. Never do tomorrow what intuition says to do today. And your intuition urges speak immediately. Do not delay. Substitute without hesitation. This discipline saves you hours of anguish. It prevents spirals. It trades stress for sovereignty. Let us conclude with a rhythmic substitution sequence. Recite each line with conviction. I choose truth now. I override fear with divine remembrance. The law backs every word I speak. No lie can live where truth is declared. I substitute now, and I am free. When fear strikes again, pause deliberately. Install the substitute truth. Speak it out or whisper it if needed. But do it without fail. Override the loop decisively. If you are ready, write below, I choose truth now. Hold it now, your wallet, your purse, your phone, your debit card, your checkbook. Whatever connects you to money, what you hold it in, send it with or receive it through, bring it near. Regard it without judgment. Behold it with reverence. For this is no longer merely a leather container or a row of digits. It has now become a consecrated object. Your spoken words have established it as such. Florence Scovel Shinn reminded us, words and thoughts are a form of radioactivity and do not return void. Thus, each time you speak over your finances, you broadcast a signal magnetic, divine, and irresistible. And the universe responds obediently. Countless people move through life cursing money without noticing. They glance into their wallets and mutter, "It's empty." They open their banking app and sigh, "Not enough." A bill arrives and they groan. "This always happens to me." But you are not among them. You do not abide in that vibration. You are a practitioner of sacred language. From this moment forward, your money hears only the word of truth. Close your eyes once more. Envision your wallet, your accounts, your bank card glowing with radiant golden light. This is not idle fantasy. This is divine imagination switched on by faith and supercharged by your speech. Watch the light pour into your wallet, anointing every corner, saturating every bill, every coin, every digital dollar. And now, let us declare. I will speak it once. You repeat it aloud. Then pause, breathe, and feel the resonance. This is not mere repetition. This is anointing. Let the music soften in the background. Allow your voice to step into its true power. I bless this wallet. It brims with divine ideas, sacred supply, and ever-flowing abundance. Money moves into this space freely, joyfully, and consistently. Every dollar here is a soldier of good multiplying in service to love, peace, and provision. I no longer judge by appearances, I speak only what I decree. I say now, there is always more than enough. I bless this account, these figures, this purse, this card. It serves as a channel of infinite good. It is not the source, it is the conduit of the source. And the source is divine. God is my supply. The law is my partner. My words are my wand. Let it be recorded. Money arrives easily, continually, and with joy. Let it be done. All I touch turns to gold, for I walk aligned with the truth of wealth. I bless and I receive. Again, breathe deeply. Watch the golden glow intensify and expand. Imagine that the next time you open this wallet or view this account, it illuminates with divine activity. An unexpected deposit appears, a refund arrives, a bonus is granted, a gift finds you, a client who agrees immediately and enthusiastically. This is not luck. This is law in motion, because you spoke blessing over it. Let me share a brief story. There was a woman much like you who followed this very practice. She carried $7 in her wallet and felt a pang of shame whenever she saw it. But one day, she completed the ritual with sincerity. She spoke the words. She blessed those $7 until they seemed to shimmer in her hands. She lifted them toward the light and affirmed, "You are sacred substance. You multiply under grace." The very next day, a forgotten payment made its way to her. Then another arrived, and then more followed. She neither begged nor hustled. She spoke the word, and the word fulfilled its assignment. So repeat it with me once more. I bless this money. I bless its inflow and outflow. I speak divine order into every cent I hold. I do not chase, I magnetize. I do not fear, I decree. I do not beg, I command. Because I walk in partnership with the word, and the spoken word itself embodies wealth, carrying the very substance of prosperity within it. Allow the blessing to settle in fully, now anchoring itself deeply and completely. Invite the vibration to take root within the very fibers of your wallet, infusing it at every level. From this moment onward, let each time your hand touches it become a ritual of gratitude, a practice of certainty, a moment of sacred remembrance. And if the sensation of lack attempts to creep back in, stop, draw your wallet close to your heart, and declare, "I bless and receive." Allow those 3 words to serve as your steadfast anchor and stabilizing point. Permit those 3 words to transform your wallet into a consecrated temple of supply. Let these very words rewire and reset the energetic circuitry of your entire financial life. I bless and receive now, fully and without hesitation. I bless and receive again with conviction and calm. I bless and receive once more to seal the blessing in rhythm. This marks your new way of moving and creating. This is your new embodiment of wealth and sufficiency. This is sacred speech, incarnated word made tangible power in your life. Offer a daily blessing over your wallet and the money it holds. Address it as though it truly hears you, because energetically it does respond. Speak to your bank account as though it answers, because it will respond in due order. And if this truth resonates in your spirit, proclaim it with us at once. Comment these words with intention. I bless and receive. It is done, completed, and affirmed in law. You have given voice to the word with authority. You have replaced fearful narratives with the stronger truth. You have extended blessing over your wallet, your accounts, and your wealth in both seed time and harvest. Now the next step is to anchor this work firmly, to rhythm it into your very bones through steady repetition, to let it shift from something you merely try into something you live by, move with, and breathe naturally. Therefore, we commence the 7-day challenge, a rhythmic law activation practice. This is your next elevation and advancement. This is the stage where you speak wealth as readily as you breathe, like the inevitability of sunrise returning each morning, like the steady, faithful rhythm of your heartbeat, every single day, at morning, at noon, and at night, without fail. Like a sacred drumbeat that continues unbroken and unceasing. Because you no longer have to manufacture wealth, you already are wealth embodied. This challenge trains your remembrance of that truth. Each day, you will give voice to the word deliberately. Each day, you will issue a decree with authority and clarity. Each day, you will move in cadence with the 7 divine laws that Florence Scovel Shinn both practiced and taught. Let us commence by establishing the rhythmic pattern. From day 1 through day 7, speak these aloud 3 times daily, morning, midday, and evening, each interval honored. The wording remains constant. The one evolving is you. You will deepen, you will anchor, and you will become what you declare. Let us walk through the cadence together now. Let us feel the pulse and settle into its beat. Let us awaken your voice to the tempo of the divine. Morning, the awakening of dominion and confident authority. I rise in power centered, steady, and sure. The word is my guiding compass, my sovereign command, and my generative fire. I walk in alignment with purpose, order, and grace. Money moves on my behalf and in my direction. Inspired ideas seek me out and follow after me. Opportunities recognize me and bow in welcome before my presence. All doors stand open and all gates stand wide to admit my good. I am a child of the Most High, and wealth constitutes my rightful inheritance. It already belongs to me by divine right. It is already accomplished and complete. Noon, anchoring in flow, trust, and forward movement. Midday brings clear light and with it midday truth. What I declared this morning is taking shape and manifesting right now. I do not entertain doubt or hesitation. I do not delay. I allow immediate demonstration. I release control, I trust the law, and I issue command. I replace every fear with spiritual fact and certainty. Everything I require is actively moving toward me. Everything I desire stands already complete within divine mind. I speak in steady rhythm, walk in the law, and move within abundance. My good is hastening toward me at this very moment. Night, sealing the work with rest, gratitude, and expectant faith. As I close this day, I simultaneously open tomorrow's welcoming gates. Thank you for each proof, every gift, and every sign that things are unfolding rightly. Even while I rest, the law continues its perfect operation. Even in sleep, the word carries out its appointed performance. All things are in motion now in this very now. I rest securely in wealth and sufficiency. I sleep cradled in confident expectation. I am not idly waiting. I am actively receiving. It is done settled in spirit and in form. It is done sealed and established again. It is done completed a 3rd time for rhythm and certainty. Can you feel the shift in the certainty moving through you? This is more than a practice. It is a rhythmic covenant with the law itself. You are bringing your body, your mind, and your voice into harmony with spiritual law. And like a struck tuning fork that sings your decree, resonates clearly in the unseen realm. Florence understood this principle deeply. She did not merely recite affirmations. She embodied them within a consistent pattern. She didn't rely on wishing. She spoke with rhythmic, lawful cadence. That very rhythm rendered her unstoppable and unshakable. That rhythm opened doors beyond the reach of logic alone. Allow me to paint an image for you. Picture yourself clearly 7 days from now. You have spoken the rhythm faithfully 3 times each day. You have substituted each fearful thought with a stronger truth. You have blessed your money, your mindset, and your movement through life. And when day 7 arrives, you stand taller, steady, and composed. Your thinking operates on a higher, steadier frequency. You speak with the poise of a master rather than a beginner. You no longer ask when. You know it already belongs to you. You have become magnetic. Wealth responds to you as surely as iron leaps toward flame. Because you have laid down and kept the rhythm, you have sealed the frequency into your system. You have stepped into the divine pattern that sustains abundance. Recall this: the subconscious mind absorbs most deeply through rhythm. The nervous system gains stability through compassionate repetition. The law shows pronounced response to steady consistency. This challenge is not about rigid perfection or strain. It is about alignment, attunement, and congruence. It is about showing up and speaking even when nothing appears to shift, because that is precisely when the change is taking root below the surface. You might not see the hidden roots, but you will feel and witness the fruit. And when day 8 arrives, you will keep going naturally, because the rhythm will have matured into your living reality. Let us affirm this shared commitment together now. Speak the following out loud. I walk in rhythm with divine wealth, step by intentional step. I do not skip my rhythm, and I do not entertain doubt. The word stands as my daily decree and directive. The law responds to me in every moment and situation. 7 full days devoted to speaking the word. 7 days aligned with truth and inner certainty. 7 days of living in deliberate divine alignment, and I am transformed, never returning to the old pattern. Join this challenge and step into the cadence. Set your reminders so the rhythm remains unbroken. Morning, noon, and night, each one honored in turn. 3 declarations daily sustained for 7 days straight. That totals 21 concentrated moments of power and intention. And each one builds upon the previous, compounding the effect. Do not underestimate the potency of 21 focused declarations. Do not overlook the ripple effect produced by a single day lived in divine rhythm. A multiplying power is released whenever multiple voices speak truth in unison at the very same moment. It is a force Florence Scovel Shinn hinted at, softly conveyed, and at times proclaimed loudly through her affirmations. This is the dynamic of spoken agreement, the amplifying power of united decree. When 2 or more assemble, not only physically, but in unified word, the vibration magnifies. The frequency turns thunderous. Heaven inclines to listen. The unseen translates into the immediate. At this point, it transcends being solely about your voice. It is now about our shared voice, a collective resonance. Your personal decree holds might. Yet when it joins with another's decree, it becomes a spiritual earthquake that shakes reality. When you release your affirmation into a communal field, into the comments, the room, a call, or a shared intention, you are doing more than declaring for yourself alone. You are tuning the entire environment as if adjusting an instrument to pitch. You yourself become the tuning fork that sets the tone for all present. Then everything nearby begins to align with the pitch and timbre of your spoken truth. That is the transformative power inherent in community. The word spoken collectively, many mouths, one decree. Allow me to illustrate precisely what this means. Please close your eyes now. Envision a vast hall, golden walls, soaring arches, and faint chimes shimmering in the air. Within this sacred temple stand thousands of people, each one much like you. Some already enjoy wealth, while others are living with debt. Some are seasoned practitioners of the word. Others are just beginning their journey. Yet every person stands centered on a single focus, one inner fire uniting them, one shared frequency binding the room together. A single voice lifts first and rises above the hush I am divinely provided for. Then a second voice joins in agreement. Money flows to me in perfect ways. Then 5 additional voices add their sound. I walk in wealth. I live by the law. In an instant, the entire room becomes filled and overflowing. It is filled not with random noise, but with concentrated power. Each affirmation functions like a tuning fork, sending resonant waves through every soul present. One by one, everyone begins to align to the shared tone. Together, all begin to rise in awareness and vibration. This is not imaginary or fanciful. This is precise spiritual technology at work, and you are an essential participant in this technology. When you post your decree in a comment thread, a person across the globe can feel its resonance. When you declare aloud in a group, even through a screen, the law hears you in surround sound, amplified from many directions. Your spoken word elevates another person's state. Their spoken word, in turn, lifts you as well. Within the spiritual realm, competition does not exist. There is only rising together. There is only collective remembering of truth. There is only resonance harmonizing all participants. Let us practice it right now without delay. Let us step into the shared field of spoken intention. I will voice the decree first. You then speak it aloud in turn. Do this not solely for yourself, but for all of us together. Together, we rise on the same current. Together, we align with law and truth. Together, we demonstrate visible results. Speak these words together with me now. Wealth obeys my word. Let it echo once more for emphasis. Wealth obeys my word, and a final time more powerfully, so the atmosphere tangibly shifts. Wealth obeys my word. You have now entered a current that continues without end. For once the word is spoken in unity, it never dies or dissipates. It ripples outward until it shapes felt reality. It awakens dormant riches and unclaimed channels. It opens pathways that were previously unseen. And when another person arrives here tomorrow or next week reading your comment, hearing your voice, taking in your decree, they awaken as well. You become the very spark that rekindles their remembrance. You serve as the voice that lifts them beyond doubt and fear. You become the answer they were seeking without realizing it. Florence said, "There is no competition on the spiritual plane. What is rightfully mine is given me under grace. Therefore speak now not to compete, but to contribute to the whole. Speak not to gain approval, but to amplify vibration. Speak and allow your truth to merge with the river of spoken wealth flowing through this community. We do not ascend in isolation. We ascend in togetherness and mutual uplift. Call and response voices weaving a single fabric. Line by line, decree by decree, layer upon layer of power. This is sacred agreement operating in real time. This is holy momentum gathering force. This is a community ignited and ablaze with truth. Offer your affirmation into the space now. Release your power into the collective stream now. Place your flame upon the communal altar of spoken word. Comment these exact words, "Wealth obeys my word," and let that comment lift others as it circulates. May this space operate as an echo chamber of divine wealth, not complaints, not static, only the clear word. For the word never returns void or powerless. And when it is issued in unity and accord, it changes everything, conditions, outcomes, and hearts alike. It is done sealed and complete. And now, beloved soul, we have arrived together at this point, poised and present. This is not a conclusion, but rather the opening threshold of everything meaningful. It is the place where teachings melt away and become embodied living. Here, repeated practice matures into identity and personhood, where you cease using affirmations solely as instruments and begin voicing them as living truths pulsing through your very bloodstream. You yourself have become the word in motion now. The word has taken form as flesh through you in this moment. You no longer ask anxiously, "How do I manifest wealth?" because the question has dissolved. You now walk as one who carries wealth with every step, leaving a trail of abundance. This is because the law is not distant or external, answering from far away. The law resides within you, present and active. It lives in your breath and in your inhale and exhale. It vibrates in your voice, shaping the world as you speak. It moves in your stride, guiding how you enter every room. Therefore, we proceed to activate this culminating stage and seal the work. From here on, we will not merely recite, we will embody and enact. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote, "The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Man's thoughts, deeds, and words return to him sooner or later with astounding accuracy. You have schooled your thoughts with discipline and care. You have directed your speech with precision, intention, and reverence. You have blessed your deeds so that your actions align with truth. Now, walk forward in this reality and live it openly. Let us initiate this sacred activation through the body itself. Rise to your feet if you are able and comfortable. Place your feet firmly grounded and secure. Lengthen your spine until it stands tall, dignified, and free. Lift your chin not in pride, but in quiet, divine assurance. Close your eyes gently to turn inward. Imagine yourself walking into a room, any room that matters to you. It might be a bank lobby or financial office. It could be a negotiation, a business meeting, a pivotal deal. Perhaps it is a dinner gathering where decisions are made, or a dream space you have long avoided out of doubt. Yet this time, you do not enter as the former version of yourself. You enter as the word embodied, centered, fluent, and whole. You do not seek permission or approval from the room. You do not hope to be accepted. You stand already accepted by law. You command the atmosphere with presence, tone, and truth. You no longer chase opportunity as if it were scarce. You draw opportunity to you as naturally as breath draws air. Each step you take softly whispers, "I am the source. I am the supply." Every breath hums in rhythm, "My wealth is within. My good is guaranteed." You become a living scripture prosperity expressed in motion. You carry the current of divine economy in your very aura and field. Now let us voice the final activation clearly and aloud. We will go line by line, paced and deliberate. Speak without hesitation or shrinking. Speak without apology or self-diminishment. Let the words travel through your spine, your chest, and down into the soles of your feet. Now say it with intention. I am the Word made flesh, living proof and present power. I walk as abundance incarnate, abundance embodied in motion. Everywhere I go, wealth awakens, activates, and answers. I am not searching for provision, I am the provision arriving. I do not fear delay, I declare it done and watch it demonstrate. I do not pursue and strain, I magnetize with clarity and calm. I am the decree embodied lawful speech in living form. I am spiritual authority that shapes and governs matter. I move in wealth, for wealth moves within and through me. I command with love's authority, and I receive with ease and grace. I am the living word of wealth, established, radiant, overflowing. Once again, take a breath, slow, steady, and deep. Allow a pocket of silence to hold and strengthen the vibration. Now call to mind a moment in your life when you felt powerless around money. See that scene clearly details feelings, words. Notice the confusion, the shame, and the dread that lived there. Now place yourself directly in front of that memory with courage and speak aloud with authority. That was a lie, I name it and refuse it now. I override it now with truth and lawful word. I rewrite it now in alignment with divine law. I am not that struggle. I am more than that story. I am not that fear. I stand beyond it. I am the word, creative, lawful, and exact. And my word is wealth, established and effective now. Watch the entire scene dissolve, releasing its hold as light replaces it. Envision it being transmuted into gold, into deep peace, into abundant support that overflows. For this is who you are at present. Your identity has become this now. You are the one who walks the way with steady steps. You are the very voice through which the law itself speaks. You stand as the living embodiment and expression of divine economy. Florence said, "The invisible forces are ever working for man who is always pulling the strings himself, though he does not know it." Owing to the vibratory power of words, whatever man voices he begins to attract. Now you understand this truth fully. Now you pull the strings with complete conscious awareness. Now you give voice to the very future in which you already live. Therefore, walk within that reality and move in it. Speak from within that reality and let your words arise there. And rest securely in that same reality with ease. You are no longer the one who is seeking. You are the one who proclaims and declares. You are not attempting to earn value or prove worthiness. You are affirming and declaring what has always belonged to you. This is more than merely adopting a new mindset. This, in truth, is your complete rebirth. You have ceased waiting for a miracle to arrive. You yourself are the miracle in motion walking. Let us conclude now, not with a whisper, but with a thunderous roar of remembrance. Repeat these words once more. I am the living word of wealth. I am the living word of wealth. I am the living word of wealth. May every molecule hold and retain this remembrance. May every bank account you steward openly reflect it. May every door you meet respond and open to it. And if you are prepared to seal this truth, not only in your mind, but in your spirit, your movement, and your identity, declare it boldly in the comments now. I am the living word of wealth. Then go forth and walk as that embodied reality. It is accomplished and complete.